My husband and I are a little over $1 million in debt. Let's talk about it and how we got here. I'm Brooke. I'm a nurse practitioner. My husband and I both have doctorate degrees. He is a CRNA. We both started out as nurses. We both worked for approximately 3 years, and then we went back to school. During that time, we had to take out student loans, and we also used credit cards to help with our cost of living. I graduated in 2022. My husband graduated in 2023. When my husband graduated, we were able to pay off $32,000 worth of credit card debt. So overall, our financials were looking a lot better. And at that time, we weren't $1 million in debt. Now we have a mortgage, and so that is what's included in our debt. Let's kind of break down everything that we have right now.
Yeah, I need to break down to this because this sounds absolutely horrific to be $1 million in debt. What could she be possibly be in debt on this much? Well, she did say that her and her husband are nurse practitioners and they did go back to school and then they got a mortgage. So that's probably answers right there, but let's find out.
We have a Bank of America Visa. It's a 0% interest card. It'll be paid off by December. The only thing is we've had to use it for a couple house purchases here and there. We purchased a couch where we moved into our new house. That total is $4,029. We had to pay for new carpet for our house. That balance right now is $1,625. And we also had our water heater go out, and we had our drip pan that had to be replaced for our AC. And so that totals to $1,861. And these are all 0% interest, and we have it to where we're paying the set amount monthly so that they're paid off by December. I have $2,940 in medical bills. We have a car loan for $30,212. Two student loans. My husband's are $273,000.
$445,640 in student loans. And they approved this woman for a house that she couldn't even afford to furnish without using a credit card. Oh, man. And people want to blame the economy on why things are so expensive and why they're failing. This is not the economy's fault. This is a 100% self-inflicted wound. Why are you buying a $500,000 house when you have almost $500,000 in student loan debt? Dave Ramsey would have an absolute heart attack. I'm kind of having a heart attack too because I can't fathom being in this amount of debt. It's crazy.
And mine are $173,000. For our mortgage, we are at $512,545, and that brings us to the total of $1,003,252.
They're $1 million in debt. $1 million in debt because they went out and said, hey, you know what? We are nurse practitioners. We can spend whatever we want, but the money's going to come back in. I really wish she went into how much money she made so we can actually gauge how bad her financial situation is. But since she's a nurse practitioner, I'm pretty sure she makes probably $300,000 a year together, which is a good income. But being $1 million in debt, making a $300,000 income is crazy, especially after they take out all them taxes. And it seems to me that throughout this entire process, neither one of them said, you know what, baby? Let's slow down. We are racking up too much debt. We are $1 million in debt. Let's not buy the house right now. Let's pay off these student loans. Let's try to pay down your $30,000 car loan. But no, they just said, you know what? Let's just go get the house. $500,000 a year, YOLO. Now, I'm completely aware that houses are expensive nowadays. $500,000 is actually pretty cheap for a house today. But you don't buy a house when you have $500,000 in loans already. You don't buy a house when you can't even afford to furnish it properly. She had to use credit cards just to put in carpet and get a couch. She can't afford the freaking house.
I graduated with approximately $500,000 worth of student loan debt. These are my thoughts on the skyrocketing monthly payments. When I was in school, we actually had like a couple-hour seminar on student loan debt and how you can go around repaying it. It could either be through working for a nonprofit where you make way less money, but at the time they had promised that the loans would be forgiven after 10 years.
So we're already starting off with bad intentions. She just said that she went to a seminar that basically tells her how she can go around paying for her loans. Why take out the loans in the first place if you don't have any plans of paying for them?
The other way was to do income-based repayment. And during the seminar at my school, I raised a lot of concern. I told people around me, and I also asked the professors, like, hey, the administration changes every 4 years. How are you guaranteeing that this works for people in the future? And honestly, I did not believe it at all. I was very lucky that I was one of the few that was not duped. But with that much student loan, I knew I needed an action plan. I decided to just do my own plan. And so I decided to move to a state that had no state income tax, and I worked my butt off. So I would work around 12 to 16 hours, 5 days a week. And then on the weekends, I would go and substitute into other clinics and work there. So essentially, I was working 6 to 7 days a week, most weeks the first couple years that I graduated. And this is not ideal for everybody. But in my mind, I had a burdensome amount of debt that I knew I had to repay. And so I worked my butt off to get a lot of that paid down in the first 2 years alone.
Well, I'm glad that she had a plan because a lot of people today are a bunch of babies and they would cry, absolutely cry for having to work as much as she does. But this is what you need to do to get that monkey off your back. You got $500,000 in debt. You got to work like you got $500,000 in debt. Most of y'all work like y'all got $10,000 in debt when you really got $500,000 in debt. And have no plan at how to pay it off. Your plan is to hope that the government will forgive your student loans. That's not happening.
Had no work-life balance. It was actually very stressful and very horrible. But in my mind, I had taken out these student loans, and so I needed to repay them, and I didn't feel comfortable or confident relying on the government or anybody else to like save me from my own student loans. A lot of people are coerced into taking out high student loans without really understanding the implications of it, and that's something that needs to be addressed. Institutions also need to be held more accountable. Like, there is no reason why a school should be charging hundreds of thousands of dollars to get through and start your career.
I very much disagree with that last part because this is the capitalist society, which means we have the right to spend our money where we want to. These outrageously expensive colleges are able to charge what they want to charge because there are still people out there willing to foot the bill for it. And it's not just colleges that are bad like this. I don't know if you guys have seen Balenciaga's new shoes, which is absolute joke. They are $500 EVA insoles that are supposed to be in your shoes. All they did was molded it into look like a barefoot shoe and charge you $500 for it. Probably cost them 2 cents to make. The box costs more than the actual item itself. And yet people are still wanting to pay for it. It's absolutely highway robbery what these companies are doing. But it just shows you what they can get away with and how stupid the American people are. I'm sorry, let me use a more appropriate term, ignorant. This is just straight ignorance. But the thing about her situation is that is not the only college that she can go to, but she picked that college. There are hundreds, probably thousands of colleges in this country. You can pick another college. You don't have to go to this one that you are complaining about the price of, because at the end of the day, you are the one that's going to be stuck paying for the price of this college when you could have just went to a community college, got all your regular stuff done, and then maybe transferred over to a specialized college where the prices will be cheaper. You don't have to take as many classes. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. Be sure to like button, subscribe to the channel, and see you guys next time.